Well, it is about exactly 6 o'clock in the morning, and I am heading down the Bright Angel Trail again. Sorry, it's a bit dim here. I think if I turn on my headlamp, it'll be even worse. Yep. Anyway, going to do another hike. We'll see how far I make it today. The temperature this morning is 46 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 8 degrees Celsius. And as you can probably hear, there's a bit of wind. So it's kind of cool. But I'm glad I brought plenty of warm clothes with me. And so I'm fine. And actually, when I woke up this morning at 5 o'clock and tried to walk to the bathroom, I thought, I guess maybe I can't go hiking today because I was so stiff. But then I did my usual yoga routine, and by the end of that, I was feeling pretty good. So I am hiking after all. I don't know if we can tell in the camera, but this big limestone wall is just gently glowing in the dawn light. It's really pretty. And the light on the ground near me is from my headlamp. I've realized one of the things I'm really enjoying hiking in the Grand Canyon is the fact that I'm hiking by myself and I get to meet lots of really interesting people. I think if I were in a group or with another person, I probably wouldn't be paying as much attention to the people that I'm passing on the trail. But I've met really a lot of interesting people these past 2 days, and that's been a lot of fun. Well, I'm about a mile down the road here, down the path, down the trail, and I just realized I forgot my water bottle. Forgot to clip it onto the side of my backpack, which is a bit annoying. It's not a disaster because I have 2 other water bottles inside my backpack. So that just means I don't have a water bottle that I can easily reach without taking off my backpack. So I guess that means I'll be stopping more often than I usually do, which is probably a good thing anyway. I did notice when I put on my backpack before I left my hotel room that my pack seemed a bit lighter than normal, but I figured that was probably because I'm wearing a lot of the clothes and stuff that I usually have inside the backpack. But I should have looked around my hotel room to see if I was missing something. Anyway, I'm sure it'll be okay because there's also, I can get more water down in Havasupai Gardens. So if I do run low, I still have 3 liters of water with me, so that'll be fine, and I can refill. And this is the pre-dawn view as the sky is getting lighter. Looks pretty much, well, similar to yesterday, but slightly different. It's a new day. So I'm at the 1.5 mile rest house now. It's a nice stone shelter up above the trail where you can sit in some shade. Although this time of year, I think this is almost always shaded all day long. There is a telephone box for emergencies. And I'm going to stop here and get out my water bottle out of my backpack and change out of my jacket because I'm already feeling a little bit hot. You might wonder why, when I discovered that I'd forgotten my water bottle and I was only a mile down the trail, why didn't I just go back and get it? And so it had taken me about 23 minutes to walk down the trail that mile because it's very steep. So I have to walk kind of slowly. And I know from, recent experience that it takes me 40 minutes to go up a climb like that. So in other words, I would have lost an entire hour out of my day. And I don't mind losing an hour, but if I'm gonna lose an hour, I want it to be time spent sitting and resting, not time climbing back up and back down a steep hill like this. So I will just do with my backup water bottles. So at the 1 mile rest house, or the 1.5 mile rest house there, I tried to fill up one of my water bottles from the water spigot, and there is no water, which is, well, yeah, so, the past 2 days there's been plenty of water flowing out of there. I guess the pipeline breaks frequently, so maybe that means the pipeline has broken today. But what that means for me is I can go a little ways farther down, but I have to turn around. And I mean, if there's no water at Havasupai Gardens, then I have to turn around and come back up because I don't have enough water with me to do a long hike today. So I guess, well, we'll see how that turns out. I may regret not having turned around at the 1 mile mark when I discovered a missing water bottle. But we'll see if that happens. The other thing, the reason, so I said I had 3-liter water bottles, but only one of them is full. So I have two 1.5-liter bottles in here, and I was relying on being able to fill up the other one once I got farther down the trail. So I didn't want to carry that extra 1.5 liters down the trail when I could just fill it up at the water spigot at Havasupai Gardens, which is what I did yesterday. So I really only have 1.5 liters with me right now, minus the few swallows that I just took out of the bottle. And I would normally have 4 liters with me if all my bottles were full and if I hadn't forgotten one bottle. So 4 liters is fine, the right amount for a hike of the length that I was planning to do today. But again, maybe I'll get down to Havasupai Gardens and there will be water pressure there. If not, then I'll be turning around and coming back up this trail. And here's the view there. The sun is beginning to rise. You can see the sun beginning to rise on that distant peak on the north rim and on the spire behind this near spire. So this near spire that's dark, no sun has hit that yet, but it's hitting the things on the north side of the canyon. Looks pretty. Now the sun is just beginning to hit that closest spire there. Well, I'm at the 3 mile rest house. I've just come from way up there, and I was very happy to find that there is plenty of water pressure here. I will demonstrate. Plenty of water. So I have filled up my spare bottle. I now have 3 liters of water with me, so I think I can continue on my long hike today. I'm happy about that. So I am 2 hours into my hike now. I'm almost to Havasupai Gardens. And so I guess I've gone about 4.25 miles, 4 miles or so. Yeah, 4.25. Havasupai Gardens is 4.5. So anyway, and I wanted to mention in my yesterday's video, I said I had included video footage of bighorn sheep. And I did see bighorn sheep on the way down this trail yesterday. They were right close to the trail, and I thought I took a video of them, but it turned out that was the one video. When I tried to play it, it said that it could not, my iPhone did not support that video format. which is weird because it was taken by that same iPhone. So I guess somehow that recording got corrupted, and I only have a still image of the ground next to a bighorn sheep. So I thought I had included bighorn sheep in yesterday's video, but my phone failed me and I didn't get any video of the bighorn sheep. But that's okay. Thought maybe I would see some today, but I didn't see any. They were probably just standing in the bushes watching me walk past. The sun is now hitting the top of the canyon by, the region in the vicinity of Bright Angel Lodge. Looks like the same, well, perhaps some of the same deer I saw yesterday. I don't know. Now I see there are 3 here. I only saw 2 yesterday. Oh no, there are 4. Oh, whoops, 5. It's kind of hard to see them in the bushes. Nope, I don't see the little one that I saw yesterday. That little one there doesn't look the same. The other one had spots on its rump. I better not go between these animals, I think. I don't know. So all the adults are up there and the little one's down here. Should I go down the path or not? I guess I will. Hopefully that little one is not going to run right at me. Hi there. So here I am at the intersection with the Tonto Trail. I've now hiked the Tonto Trail twice in the past 2 days. And although it's tempting to walk it again because it's so pretty, today I'm going to try to go down to the river. So apparently they'll let us get down there so we can see the river, but I think we're not even allowed to touch the water because it's a construction zone. It's a staging area for all of the electrical and pipeline construction they're doing up here. And from talking with other hikers, it seems that there are helicopters ferrying different construction materials from a staging area down by the river up to the construction site up here. So they said it's like a helicopter flying overhead about every 15 minutes or so. So that's not too nice, but I'm still going to go. I want to go down to the river and see it. I can already hear the backhoes and bulldozers driving around. All of those were presumably carried down by helicopter. And like I think I mentioned before, apparently they are hurrying to finish the construction before winter, and who knows, maybe before government funding runs out. This little canyon's really pretty. The trail just goes along on a rock ledge above. I'm sure you can hear the water flowing. There's a little waterfall down there, and a lot of vegetation growing in the canyon. The morning light shining through the trees here is really pretty. There's a good amount of water in the creek here. I guess I'm meant to walk across these little rocks here. I suppose if I use my hiking sticks, I can do that. Now I'm basically walking down a muddy creek bed. Amazing that there's this much water in the desert. Wow, what a view here as I'm getting down close to the Colorado River. So this must be the area of the trail that they call Devil's Corkscrew, because I'm going to go down and along there and then down a bunch of switchbacks. This looks challenging. Why, this is a rugged looking canyon. Here's a little marshy area with still some standing water. Maybe a little trickle flowing down. And what a view of this canyon. Trying to move smoothly while avoiding stepping in the water. The reflected light, this light on these rocks here is reflecting from, or it's reflected onto it from the opposite wall of the canyon. Really pretty light. I've paused here to take a few self-portraits in the glow of the reflected light here. While I was standing here, a helicopter just flew up from way down in there between the rocks. It was pretty amazing. Now I'm much farther down into that canyon, nearing the end of the switchbacks, or the end of the switchbacks that I was able to see up high. Don't know if there might be any more. This is a lot of elevation that I'm dropping down, so I'm going to have to go, of course, all the way back up. I looked at the National Park website yesterday. Once I get to the bottom, I will have gone 7.9 miles, and so of course I have to go 7.9 miles back, and the elevation gain going back will be for about 4,500 feet. So this is going to be the most strenuous hike I've done this year, probably the most strenuous hike I've ever done, but I think I'm in good shape for it. Here I'm looking back up the trail behind me. This section of the trail is in a narrow slot canyon. It must be pretty amazing when there's a heavy rain. I bet a lot of water rushes down here, and you can see those white streaks, well, white and black streaks are where there would be a waterfall during the rainy season. Beautiful light. It's just kind of the rocks sort of glow from the reflected light. There, I'm looking back up the canyon, and now here it has definitely opened up. Pretty impressive. So as I'm walking along here, I realized I've been hiking for 3 hours and 45 minutes, and I really haven't drunk very much water, maybe half a liter at most. And that's just because the inconvenience of having to get my bottle out of the backpack is preventing me from drinking as often as I normally would. So then it occurred to me I have 9 of those mandarin oranges, clementine mandarin oranges, that I peeled last night and put them in a plastic bag in my backpack. So I've now reorganized my stuff. I've transferred the oranges to my waist pack, and I'll use the oranges instead of water for the next little while to make sure that I'm getting enough hydration. It's probably actually a pretty good way to get liquid because, of course, orange juice has some electrolytes in it as well as some fructose, and so to give me some energy and some moisture. Well, here's the Colorado River. I've been hiking for 4 hours and 5 minutes. That guy's telling those other people to stop. I guess we can go kind of close, but not quite down to the river. It's a beautiful sandy beach down here. We are allowed down here, we're just not allowed to hike along the river because of the helicopters coming in and out. This looks nice. I can stick my toes in the water. Now I see why they don't want us honking over there, because the helicopters are coming there and picking stuff up. Well, I did stick my hand in the water of the river, and it's cool, but I wouldn't call it cold. Definitely swimmable, but I'm not going to swim. And as much as I would like to take my shoes off and wade in the water or something, I didn't bring a towel, and I don't want to have sand between my toes when I put my socks back on. So I decided not to take my shoes off and wade in the water. And as you can hear, the helicopters are buzzing back and forth. It appears that they are working on the hiking trail that goes, it goes along this side of the river, headed east to the Kaibab Trail, where it crosses the river, and then people can cross over that and get to Phantom Ranch, and then could hike up to the north rim of the Grand Canyon, although that's closed now. Apparently Phantom Ranch is supposed to open very soon. Last time I checked the website, which was, 2 or 3 weeks ago, it said Phantom Ranch would be opening on November 1st, so that's just 3 days from now. I think today's Wednesday, 3 days from now. I don't know, that may have changed, or maybe they will have it ready. I don't think they can open before this trail is open, because the trail when I say this trail, I mean the trail that goes along the river, headed over towards the Phantom Ranch, because I believe the trail that I just came down is the main trail that the mule trains come down carrying guests who want to stay at Phantom Ranch. So that trail will have to be open for the mule trains to get down it and across. But who knows, maybe they'll be done in 3 days, or maybe it'll open in mid-November or something like that. It's very pretty looking both up the canyon. That way is east. You can see a helicopter hovering there, dropping off some materials. But it's really nice to sit down here. It would be, of course, really, really nice if there weren't any helicopters flying around and you could just lie on the beach and rest. This raven just came down here, was hovering right over the heads of a couple people who are sitting on the beach to the left of me. And I'm sure it knows that people tend to drop food that it can eat. This is goodbye to the beach. I've been down here for about 25 minutes. It's nice to sit here and rest, and I repacked my backpack to distribute the weight a little bit more evenly. I'd like to stay down here longer, but given how far it is and how much climbing I have to do to get back, I feel like I need to get started up the trail. I would guess it's going to take me, I don't know, if I go by my rule for the past 2 days when I'm climbing, when I'm going uphill, I average about 40 minutes per mile. I got 8 miles, so that's, what's that? 5 hours and 20 minutes. Wait a minute, is that right? 320 minutes divided by 60, yeah. 5 hours and 20 minutes. I don't know. I doubt that I'll make it in 5 hours. It took me 4 hours to get down. If it takes me twice as long to get back up, that would be 8 hours. So somewhere between 5 and 8 hours. Let's say maybe 6. We'll see. Anyway, I'm not in a hurry to get anywhere. I have plenty of food, plenty of warm clothing. I have 2 headlamps and 4 sets of batteries for the headlamps. So I think I will be fine. Wow, I didn't even notice that rest house there as I walked down here. I guess I was too focused on the river. I didn't really talk about this as I was coming down, but some sections of the trail are really extremely rough. It must be hard on the mules when they are walking over this rocky trail. And I can see from this looks like silt probably deposited by rushing water. So I imagine that when the during the peak flow during the rainy season, this creek must be really big and must flood this path at times and deposit all this silt and polished gravel. Looks like there's a little shelter dug out of the soil on the side of the trail. I did not notice this when I was coming down, but that must be nice. If it's really hot and sunny, you could sit back under that. One interesting thing I've noticed, the elevation above sea level at the river, I think it was around, I don't know, 2,200, 2,300, something around there. And as I've been climbing up, I've climbed, excuse me, 500 feet up from that, or maybe a little more. And it's not nearly as tiring at this elevation as it is when I'm up near the top. Obviously, there's not a problem with lack of oxygen or insufficient oxygen down here. So I'm enjoying that. I'm not getting out of breath, and my heart rate isn't going very fast as I'm climbing this. I'm sure that will change as I make my way on up. Well, it's been about an hour since I left the river. I've made it up to this wet area that I stopped at on the way down. Fortunately, I've been in shade and shadow most of the way up here through all these switchbacks of this, what they call the Devil's Corkscrew. But I can see, or I could see as I was coming up, that around that bend, it's going to be sunny, no shade for a while. So I'm going to rest here for a bit and get ready for, for a hot slog up there. How interesting. It looks like from the colors of that way up there, that looks like the South Rim. So that may be one of the points, maybe Hopi Point or Powell Point or something like that. I will probably go out to one of those points to watch the sunrise tomorrow morning. That rock formation across the canyon there looks quite interesting. I noticed it when I was coming down a few hours ago, and I tried to record it, video it, but I think it was in too much shadow to see much detail, but now full sun on it shows those layers, how bent they are. It's quite amazing. It looks kind of like a corkscrew. Well, it's neat. Quite a pretty little plant here that has found a spot of shade where it and a couple companions are able to get out of the sun, obviously, and must have enough moisture for them to grow. You can see from those yellow twig parts that go up there, it must have been blooming at some point in the recent past. It's quite pretty. Well, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes since I left the river, and I've already reached that relatively level area along the creek with all the vegetation. So that's nice. I should be, I guess, I don't know, a mile or, yeah, probably about a mile from Havasupai Gardens. It's really nice to be hiking at a lower elevation. The elevation right here is 3,300 feet, so about 1,000 meters. And I noticed I'll be going along at a, where my legs can feel a little burn at a good pace and climbing up. And I look at the heart rate on my watch, and it's only 130, 135. So that's nice. That's the difference between, right now, 3,300 feet, and I can walk and talk. Whereas in a few hours, I'm going to be at 6,000 feet, and I'll have to stop for a break every few hundred yards. Well, I'm going back up along the creek here, and it's really nice, pleasant temperature. It's nice and cool, probably very well shaded, and there's probably some evaporation off of the creek. And really, the temperature isn't very high at all today, so that's nice. And there's the view of the North Rim. It's funny because, in some ways I do want to hike on and get to the end of the hike before I get too tired. But on the other hand, the longer I take, the more time I get to spend down here in the canyon. So I think I'll stop and enjoy this for a while, since this is probably the last time in a long time that I'll be down here. Well, after resting for a while down in that beautiful canyon, I am back up at the turnoff for the Tonto Trail. And it's been about 4 hours since I left it this morning. So 4 hours to go down into the river and back up. And it's been about 2 hours since I left the river. And I know from this spot, it normally takes me about 3 hours to get up to the top. So I guess that estimate of 5 hours may be accurate. I think I'm going to start up, but I'm going to stop and rest and enjoy the scenery on the way up. Well, I've made it to the 3 Mile Rest House. And let's see, I think it's been 3 hours and 15 minutes since I left the river, approximately. I know it's been 7 hours and 45 minutes since I started. Just checking out the view here from the rest house. So I've been hiking for 7 hours and 45 minutes, and I'm definitely tired, but I've only got 3 miles left. And let's see how many feet. It says 2,120 feet to go. Just saw a little bird here picking up seeds, I guess. He's extremely frightened of me, of course. Well, I stopped at the 1.5 mile rest house for a while, but I didn't take any videos because I was talking with other people who were resting there. But now I'm near the top. It looks like maybe another 400 feet of elevation to go, maybe another mile, I don't know. And I've been hiking for 9 hours and 38 minutes now. So it's definitely been a long hike, but I'm going real slowly. My heart rate isn't getting too high, just plodding along. Really enjoying being down here inside the canyon. Well, this is the end of the trail for me. I've been hiking for about exactly 10 hours, and that was a long hike. Long in distance and high in elevation. I'm definitely tired. I think I'm going to go try to find some ice cream somewhere. And so I'm about to go back up out of the rim, and I guess that'll be it for me below the rim. It was really nice down there. I'd like to maybe someday make reservations and stay at the ranch that's down at the bottom of the canyon.